Okay, I'm not a big fan of DygoKnight and his videos because I genuinely think the guy is kind of retarded when it comes to power scaling. So I'm not really gonna be expecting any good power scaling in this video because, like I said in my previous videos, the nigga is actually like retarded. So yeah, let's see what he got for us in this video. The video is titled "Why Madara is the Strongest Character in Naruto." Now, I have watched most of the video. I will say that I've watched up to, I think it was 8 Gates guy. So we're gonna start reacting from the part where he talks about Six Pairs Naruto, Rinnegan Sasuke, and then he talks about Kaguya. So those are the parts that we're gonna react to because I think he was actually spitting. I can't believe I said that. Fuck. He was actually spitting when he was talking about Jubito and 8 Gates guy because yeah, they would absolutely lose. So yeah, Madara just picked them up. So let's just start from Six Pairs Naruto, and then Rinnegan Sasuke, and then we get to Kaguya. The three interesting parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is a good segue to Naruto and Sage of Six Paths Senjutsu mode. He arrives and saves my guy from Madara's Orb of Destruction, and I think the fights are going to start to get a little bit more interesting here because Naruto's definitely way stronger than Jubito or 8 Gates Guy. So what are your initial thoughts for this one?
So if we're going one Rinnegan Madara right now, I do think Naruto puts up a fight, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and I do think he gives Madara a solid run for his money. Because I mean, if we're going off of this fight with no knowledge, like right off the bat, like how we saw like in the show, like obviously Madara had some surface level knowledge, but he was completely taken back about how efficient Naruto was about evading the limbo and how he got all this like this extra power.
He was touching the truth-seeking orbs without, being disintegrated too.
Yeah, so like Madara, if this is the same thing, Madara will be completely taken off guard because that was just only a couple of things. Like that wasn't even the beginning of what Naruto could really do with like all his abilities. And there are probably things that Naruto himself doesn't even isn't aware that he can do until he actually accidentally does them. You know, or like one of the tail beasts, like, hey, you can combine my chakra with this attack, and he's like, oh, okay, and he just launches it. So like, I think that with the raw chakra that Naruto possesses and Naruto's unusual cleverness, I think he does give Madara a solid run for his money, even with one Rinnegan.
So there's some things we have to kind of differentiate here because, sure, when Naruto arrives in the battlefield, he's not using his Kurama Chakra mode. He's just using the Sage of Six Paths Senjutsu, and that's why he's able to punch the Truth-seeking orbs and stuff like that. But I think people blow out of proportion, everything Naruto did in that situation. Sure, he punched Madara's staff, and he was cracking the tree behind him, but that's like, okay, Madara was just like, you can touch my thing here, interesting. And then what people really say, oh, the Lava Rasa Shuriken messed Madara up, it didn't really do that much damage. Like, sure, it cut the entire tree off, but if you look at Madara's state after the Lava Rasa Shuriken, he had a superficial cut on his stomach, and that was it. And he was like thinking, what did Obito do here? He wasn't exactly worried about Naruto. Sure, he was impressed Naruto could dodge the Limbo Clone, but
DygoKnight, come on. The entire video, bruh, you've been spitting. You've been spitting facts. And now you're just entering like a whole new bullshit level, bruh. Like, this is just bullshit. What do you mean Madara wasn't worried? He was worried. He was running away from Naruto with a Rasen Shuriken. And he looks at him and he's like, this is bad. That's him being worried. What do you mean? What do you mean? Bruh.
I think people tend to, overestimate Naruto's abilities here and say that he was completely stomping Jubidara. And also, there's the fact that Jubidara absorbs the entire tree, and, like, it's implied that Madara gets an amp. After that, some people say it's, like, an entire Jubi worth of an amp, but I don't really think it's that big of an amp.
I don't buy that. Yeah, I don't buy that. I think it's just, like...
Like 10% more powerful, maybe, something like that?
I mean, the way Madara had the look on Madara's face, it like you said, it implies it's a serious amp, but just from the performance he gives after, it doesn't look like it was, it didn't look like he was doing that. I honestly feel like his second Rinnegan was more the amp than the Gatri was.
Like, absolutely. The thing is, like, he was just fighting against Naruto without Kurama, the Kurama Chakra, and then he was fighting against Sasuke and Naruto with the Kurama Chakra. But like they had such a brief altercation, Naruto and Madara was just healing from Guy's attack. Like he wasn't at his peak condition. I think the amp the tree gives is pretty overestimated. But even if we consider Madara that was fighting against Sasuke and Naruto afterwards with a tree, then I think this fight is still, a tough fight. But Madara has an edge here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like the thing is
The thing is, Naruto with his six pass powers in base, that is like without his Kurama avatar or Kurama Chakra cloak, using six pass powers, he absolutely blitzes Madara, and Madara is worried, right? So you could say that since Madara got blitzed by that Naruto, and he felt the need to absorb the Jubi, and he got an amp, and then Naruto powers up as well, the Naruto that powered up should be able to just shit on that Madara. Like he would just beat the fuck. Like I don't know what these guys are talking about, bro. The fuck?
We talked about before on videos back where just Naruto has so much raw, and again because he has all the nine tail beasts and just his normal chakra in general, like he has so many clones he could use and the chakra Kurama avatars if he needed to, and it's just all very impressive. But like we said before, Madara should still be able to use the Susanoo, which should be if we are comparing it to the games, then it should be twice the size as Sasuke's, which is crazy big anyway. And I think that Madara could handle himself with Naruto alone. I know he's got clones whatever to back him up, but I mean Madara was doing just fine 1v2. Like I know he was taken back by them. Well, honestly, that's the thing too, is like it's kind of hard to like criticize someone's performance in a battle when they're just completely taken off. Like Jiraiya, for example. Jiraiya was totally caught off guard by each one of Pain's abilities after he showed it, like a new one. Like each time he thought he was gaining an edge in his fight, Pain made use of a new ability that Jiraiya had seen yet. And so this is kind of the same thing where like Madara was completely taken back by these new abilities they got. So and I get that like that's how it is in most battles. Like you're gonna be surprised by some kind of ability that you haven't seen yet. But I don't think it's too fair to discredit Madara's performance in there, because like you said, sometimes it can be a little bit hyped up that Naruto did.
Okay. Time out. I smell bullshit, Lightning Snow. So their argument is that Madara didn't know what Naruto and Sasuke can do, so he was like still figuring it out, yada yada. He was still puzzled by the abilities, yada yada. Because that makes sense. Because last time he saw them, they were fucking dead. They didn't have 6 past powers, so he was still figuring it out. That would be a fair argument, if and only if Naruto and Sasuke also knew Madara's abilities somehow, because they didn't know those abilities. They never saw 6 pass Madara. They just saw him after they were revived. Madara went into 6 pass mode after they were revived. So this argument can also apply to Naruto and Sasuke. They don't know what Madara can do. They're going in blind, literally. Not literally blind, but like they're going in without knowing what Madara can do. So this argument just falls apart.
Well, I think a lot of it was because Madara was just completely, surprised at these new abilities they acquired.
Like, Naruto hits Madara with the Lava Rasen Shuriken, and then he only hits Madara again with his Magnet Rasengan, and he only hit Madara in that situation because of Minato Jikara, because Sasuke literally teleported Madara in front of him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hit Madara on that occasion. And Madara still substitutes with a Limbo Clone and completely shrugs that off. Now, I think Naruto would try something like he was doing against Kaguya and use 5,000 Shadow Clones if he was fighting against Madara alone. That would probably be what he would try at first. I don't think he would even try the Kurama Avatar. He never tries that against Kaguya, and he didn't try it against Jupidara either, so I don't think he would. Only if Madara pulls the Susanoo first, which maybe would happen, we don't know.
Well, I would think he would, because if Naruto wants to summon 5,000 Shadow Clones, my instant reaction would be to summon the Susanoo. I mean, that's just me, but I guess Madara might just seem like he's too overpowered in the moment and might try to take on all the clones at once, which is possible, I suppose. He can summon, I don't know how many meteors he needs to deal with all of them. So, I mean, and plus he's got the Limbo Clones as well. Even if we give him 1 Rinnegan and only has 2 Limbo Clones, or if we give him 2 Rinnegan and he has 4. Like, I mean, I honestly think that, like, Naruto's inability to see them, I know he can sense them, but I feel like
it's much worse to sense than to see them. Like, it's not as definitely not as good. But also Madara has the Light Fang in Ton Raiha, which is the attack that Naruto actually dodged. However, that attack was used one time and it just completely cut through Naruto's truth-seeking orbs, which is supposed to be the most powerful defensive jutsu in the series, and Madara's attack completely annihilated them. If Madara uses that more consistently, it seems to be this very long line of power that could probably shred through several clones at the same time as well.
Yeah, I mean, Naruto, you see the panel, like, or even in the anime, Naruto barely dodged that. Like,
that's actually Ranton Koga. Inton Raiha is the other one. The one Madara uses the lightning, the purple lightning stuff.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But that one's still pretty powerful. Like, Naruto was able to block that with the truth-seeking orbs, but he was, afraid of that enough that it would prompt him to use the truth-seeking orbs, which is not something he does all the time.
I would say you don't want to give those up. So if you have to, that says something.
Yeah.
So I mean, but even the light fang, that one, like you said earlier, like, I mean, Naruto barely dodged that, and
Sasuke was helping him out in that situation too. So
yeah, and that thing was a clean cut to the truth-seeking orb. Like, that thing cut it clean. So
it was pretty
that's no joke.
Yeah.
So if Madara uses that more strategically, and I'm not saying the way he used it wasn't, but I'm just saying, like, that's nothing to get into. Like, I know Naruto's clever. Like, Naruto honestly is surprisingly one of the most. He's one of the most cleverest. He's one of the most clever shinobi in the series. But Madara, like, we're talking about Madara here. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's smarter than Naruto, and he has a lot more experience than him. He's not like Kaguya that's just gonna be taking Naruto's attacks and not knowing what to do against him. Madara, he knows everything it has to know about ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, and all that. Like, he knows how to counter stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if I had to take a guess about how this fight would go,
We forgot, I think, Naruto's best jutsu, which is the 9 Rasen Shuriken combo that he uses the Tail Beast chakra for each Rasen Shuriken, a different Tail Beast. And that hit Kaguya very hard. We were talking about this before, and that was when Kaguya began to, get unstable, and she ballooned into that rabbit form. But she kind of shrugged it off in the end of the day, but I can still see this jutsu being problematic for Madara. Like, sure, he didn't get very hurt by 1 Rasen Shuriken, but 9 at the same time, if they all hit, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, because we were thinking, like, what would happen maybe is that the same thing that happened to Kaguya, where, she got hit with all 9 Rasen Shuriken at the same time, and because they all had Tail Beast chakra, they ended up resonating with the Tail Beast chakra that was inside Kaguya. So the same thing may happen here, and it might create an opening for Naruto because, Madara, the Tail Beast side Madara might start going unstable, and who knows what it might turn into. But while Madara's transforming into whatever he's supposed to transform into, Naruto may or may not capitalize on it. I mean, it's possible, but Naruto might just be confused about what's going on, so he may not. But we were just saying as a possibility where, like, if Madara turns into something that's unstable, then it'll be easier for Naruto to maybe land the killing blow.
Yeah, even still, like, if Madara sees 9 massive Rasen Shurikens coming at him, I'm pretty sure he's gonna do something about it. He's not gonna just be looking at them just like Kaguya was. Because, honestly, she wasn't blitzed by them, but she didn't do anything about it. She was just like, oh, look at the attack coming at me. I'm not gonna do anything. Like, not very smart for Kaguya.
Yeah, Madara will be flying around and try to avoid it, or maybe put up some true secret orbs to defend against it, maybe.
I can see Madara Susanoo being destroyed by them, even Jubidara Susanoo in this situation, but he also has the truth-seeking orbs, which should do something to negate the damage. But even still, Madara also has other ways to attack Naruto that are pretty powerful, or more powerful than this combo that Naruto pulls against Kaguya.
Yeah, he might even have the Limbo clones, like, try to attack Naruto before he throws a Rasen Shuriken, that way he can kind of throw the trajectory off of the...
Yeah, because there's the thing about Madara, he is the only person in the universe that can differentiate the real one from the shadow clones. Which is a big deal. Like, he wouldn't be fooled by Naruto's strategy against Kaguya where he displaces his truth-seeking orbs to a clone, and then she's like, I killed him! No, it was a clone.
Yeah, so if I had to do, like, 1 to 10, I'd say Madara... 1 Rinnegan Madara takes it.
I was thinking about, like, 7 out of 10 for 1 Rinnegan Madara.
6 to 7 out of 10 of 1 Rinnegan, and then dual, I was gonna say, like, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't say anything that I really felt like I needed to respond to. What the fuck is that? Oh, never mind. There's the AC next to me, but I don't know if you can hear the AC next to me. But anyway, I feel like they didn't say anything that I needed to respond to. Most of the stuff they said were, like, correct. Even though there were some minor flaws in the arguments, I feel like most of the stuff they said were correct. But he is definitely wrong when he says that one-eye pre-got 3 Madara can put up a fight against Naruto, because we see that happening and he runs from Naruto, he gets shit on. But I do think Madara, after absorbing the what the fuck is it called? The tree. After he absorbs the God tree, I think he would put up a good fight against Naruto. And I'll probably give it to Madara most of the time. And that's it. As for dual Rinnegan Madara and the Rinne Sharingan, he doesn't really have any feats, but I would still give it to him most of the time, because narratively it's implied that he's stronger than them. So yeah, I would give it to him in that instance. But I'm gonna skip the Madara thing now, because I feel like they're not really saying anything interesting anymore. So let's just move on. Now I'm also gonna skip the entire Sasuke section, because most of what they say about Sasuke is what they said about Naruto. So I feel like I don't have to respond to that, because it's mostly the same arguments. They do think that Sasuke would lose the same arguments that they made for Naruto, and I feel like the arguments that I made for Naruto still apply to Sasuke. So I feel like I don't want to repeat myself. So I'm just gonna skip Sasuke and go straight to Kaguya. So moving on to Kaguya.
Much of a tank.
Yeah, so I think we can move on to the main event of the video, which is Kaguya Otsutsuki. And, well, this one's interesting. I think we can skip single Rinnegan and even dual Rinnegan Jubidara and go straight to Rinne Sharingan Jubidara, his strongest form, to fight Kaguya.
Yeah,
the other forms would struggle a lot, to be honest, and it's just better to have Madara at his full potential to fight Kaguya here, because he's honestly at another level than Sasuke and Naruto by themselves.
Yeah, let alone together, honestly. Because even Naruto and Sasuke were struggling against Kaguya, together.
With Ina Kakashi, too.
Yeah, with Ina, yeah, for real. So I mean, like, what are you thinking? Like right off the bat, what are you thinking, bro? 'Cause we talked about this before we recorded, and we were like, bro.
Yeah, we were talking about a lot of stuff. The first thing we have to kind of tackle is the fact that a lot of people were going to say, well, Kaguya's stronger than Madara by default because Sasuke says so. Well, yes, she has much more raw power, and Sasuke states that, well, when Kaguya appears, she has much more chakra than Madara. But just having more raw power and more chakra doesn't mean it's an auto win, because if you think about it, Chapter 1 Naruto, without the Nine Tails, had more chakra than Prime Itachi, for example. Who would win this fight? Prime Itachi, obviously.
This is one of the worst ways to make an argument. Yeah, sure, part 1 Naruto would lose to Itachi, even though he has more chakra, yada yada. But that's not the argument that people make for Kaguya being stronger. It's clearly stated by Sasuke that he has far more chakra, sure, but it's not just about chakra. There are feats to support that. And there are statements to support that. Hagoromo says that Madara achieved his power and he's getting close to Kaguya's power. If he's getting close to Kaguya's power, then he's definitely not as strong as Kaguya. Kaguya is just stronger. Now, I'm sorry about the noise in the background. I'm at home right now, so there are people at home. So, yeah, they're gonna make noise, of course. So, speaking of feats, you might be asking, like, what feats put Kaguya above Madara? You can take a feat where Madara's limbo are stated to be directly equal to Madara, and then you have Naruto's clones being on par with Madara's limbo clones, which means Madara should be equal or relative to Naruto, right? But then Kaguya just swoops right in and starts shitting on Naruto and Sasuke, so it's like she's just that strong. Like, well, bruh. There's also the data book statement that she was the greatest threat the world has ever faced. So it's like it's not just a Sasuke statement; it's multiple statements and multiple feats. So that's just a dishonest way of arguing this point.
Still, I'm not saying this is going to be easy for Madara, much on the contrary, because Kaguya has a lot of stuff. First of all, she has the bone jutsu, the ash bone that can disintegrate things. Now, maybe you can make an argument that because Madara is a Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails and has so much six-path chakra, he wouldn't outright die to one of them. But even if you make...
Nah, he's dead. He would die. He would just straight up die. Like, that shit disintegrates you, bruh. He would fucking die. Naruto tried to just see his six-path power to, like, negate it. He failed. He would die.
that argument, he would still get hurt by those bones because Naruto's clones were getting, vaporized essentially.
Yeah. So like the only thing that I think would be an exception to those bones would be the limbo clone.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if Kaguya can see them, they're in a completely different plane, sort of.
Okay, I don't know much about Lightning Snow, but he might just be as retarded as DygoKnight because of the argument that he makes. Like, nigga, even if Limbo clones exist on a different plane of reality, Naruto was still able to damage it. Naruto was still able to damage it. And he has less of the six-path chakra compared to Kaguya. Like, what the fuck? Those ash bones might just fuck up the Limbo clones. Naruto was able to do that with his fucking Guru Dharma. Like, that's just a bad argument. You're basically saying you can't hurt them because they're on a different plane of reality. Naruto did that. We saw that.
They're invisible, but they seem like they're unaffected by physical things, which is weird because it's kind of inconsistent in a way. But like you said, it's only because Naruto comes on. I'm referring to whenever Naruto blocked the Limbo Clone. But you said
Naruto blocked the Limbo Clone, and the Limbo Clone got bruised by Naruto's attack because they clashed their hands. But that was because Naruto had six paths Senjutsu, and that's why he was able to even hurt the Limbo Clone.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so Naruto was able to hit the Limbo clones because he has six paths in Jutsu? Okay, what about Kaguya? Doesn't she have six paths in Jutsu? No, you could say, well, just because she's Kaguya doesn't mean she has. Well, she has it. We know she has it because Madara says that he has six paths in Jutsu, and then Kaguya was revived in Madara's body. So like, what she does have six paths in Jutsu? What the fuck?
The way the Limbo Clone operates is like, it cannot be touched by anything except when Madara wants it to touch something. So like, if he wants to punch, for example, the Tail Beast, he's like, okay, the Limbo Clone's gonna punch them. But if like, you don't want the Limbo Clone to be touched, when, for example, Sasuke tosses his sword at it, it just passed straight through the Limbo Clone and didn't do anything.
Yeah, so...
Well, that's because the sword doesn't have six paths in Jutsu. It's just a regular sword. He just threw a regular sword. That's why it didn't affect the Limbo clones. And then Naruto hit it with his Guru Dharma staff, which had six paths in Jutsu, and he was able to damage it. And Sasuke even says that. Regular weapons don't work against them, but six paths in Jutsu weapons do work against it. That's what Sasuke said. Retard. I knew it, bruh. It wouldn't be a DygoKnight video without him saying something retarded. Fuck.
even if like Kaguya sees the clones and she's like, well, I need to get rid of them first, she can't do anything about it. So, and also like before we even get into any of the abilities, like going back and forth, we also have to keep in mind that this is Kaguya who has like her brain is Zetsu's. So, you know, that right off the bat is going to be a problem for Kaguya, and it might actually be a help for Madara, because Madara, as we discussed earlier, you know, a ton of experience on his own, but he's also been shown to be a pretty decent tactician as well. And like I said, like I said before in the Sasuke section, like he is aware of his own.
Now, hold on just a second. Are you saying because Kaguya relies on Zetsu's intellect, that'll be disadvantages to her? Because Madara relies on his own intellect? Like, nigga, did you forget that Zetsu knows literally every fucking thing about Madara? Like, what the why wouldn't you just tell Kaguya what Madara can do and how to counter his abilities? Like, bruh. It would be more of an advantage for Kaguya, because Zetsu knows Madara. Jesus, bro.
And he knows how to use them and when to use them. So I honestly think that like her not being as strategic would be a big help for Madara.
So well, we see that right off the bat, Kaguya has the hair ability, which honestly is probably her most useless ability in this particular situation. I don't see her hair doing much against Jubidara, to be honest. Has truth seeking orbs.
That hair was able to pierce through Sasuke's Susanoo shield, and it was able to hit his Tenketsu. Oh no, wait, it wasn't his Tenketsu. It was able to hit his Wait, is it called Tenketsu? Let me just say chakra points just to be safe. It was able to hit the bird. He summoned the bird, and that hair was able to pierce through the bird's skin and hit its chakra points and disable it. So if that hair hits Madara's chakra points, he would get fucked. Like, that hair is useful, bruh. It's useful. It was even able to overpower Naruto and Sasuke. The hair alone. What do you mean?
Defend himself. He has Limbo Clones too. He has the Susanoo. And yes, Sasuke Susanoo struggled against Kaguya. He kind of disintegrates Sasuke Susanoo a couple of times, but Sasuke was also able to cut Kaguya and hurt her with his Susanoo. And we have to assume that Rinne Sharingan Jubidara, he's going to have a more powerful Susanoo than Rinnegan Sasuke.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just from having the 10 tails alone, and it's like it's going to amp the Susanoo like exponentially. So I honestly think, I mean, seeing how, you know, if the fight was to go down within the first, like, you know, 1 to 2 minutes, I honestly would see that Madara, seeing how crazy strong and crazy, like, all these abilities that Kaguya has, eventually would probably put up the Susanoo, especially if, like, let's say he summons a clone, like a wood clone, or like say he uses one of the True orbs to defend himself against Kaguya's ash bone and sees that it's disintegrated and sees what happens if you get hit by it. He's like, oh, okay, I need to stay away from that. I need to make sure those don't hit me. You know what? I'm gonna put up my Susanoo just as like an extra layer of protection.
Okay, bruh. Sasuke put up his perfect Susanoo and charged towards Kaguya at full speed, and Kaguya just dismantled the shit. And Sasuke's like, oh, even the Susanoo is useless, and he doesn't even try it again. Which is probably one of the reasons why Naruto never tried the QB avatar, because it would just get dismantled. It's like, even if Madara puts up his Susanoo, you'd have to prove that it will be effective against Kaguya, because you already saw that a Susanoo is not effective against her. It might be twice as big or whatever the fuck, but why would that matter? You have to prove that.
Away from the acid. So the only dimension I see being useful against Madara is the gravity dimension, which Kaguya herself was trapped by her gravity, and then she shot the bones at Naruto and Sasuke. But, well, Obito protected them, and I can see the Limbo Clones doing the same thing for Jubidara here, just blocking the bones.
Yeah, and we also.
Yeah, they would just get disintegrated by the bones, bruh. They would get disintegrated by the bones. Yeah, this is frustrating, bruh. This is fucking
Earlier we
frustrating.
were talking about that, like the Limbo Clones more than likely wouldn't be affected by the gravity.
Yeah, because they are not in this world. They're not affected by physical matter unless Madara wants them to.
Yeah, like, while that might provide an opening for the Limbo Clones.
Bruh, what do you mean they're not affected by... That's baseless. That's baseless. Even if it exists on a different plane of reality, it doesn't mean it's not affected by the gravity in this world. We see this through Obito. When he uses Kamui, his entire body is transferred into the Kamui dimension, right? But he's still affected by gravity in our world, even though he's intangible. And then we also see this with his own Limbo clones. They are standing on the fucking ground. They're affected by gravity. What do you mean?
While Kaguya is pinned down herself.
And the thing about Madara is that he has a light speed ability according to the data books, which is Light Fang. And we saw Naruto using a jutsu that's very akin to Kabuto's like scalpel, cutting off Kaguya's hand off, like her arm actually is cut off by that jutsu. Yeah. So I think that Madara's Light Fang, which completely cut the truth-seeking orbs, would do the same thing to Kaguya. So Madara can definitely hurt her. He has means to do so.
Bruh, can you prove that Kaguya's durability scales to that truth-seeker orb? Can you prove that the fucking Light Flame Jutsu is even fast enough to hit Kaguya? Like, if Naruto was able to dodge it and Kaguya just blitzes Naruto, then Kaguya should be able to dodge it. Like, what the fuck?
Like, it's not as though he's just going to be throwing everything he has against her and she's not going to be feeling anything. Yeah. Also, he has the Renegon abilities. He has the entire Chibaku Tensei thing with 20 planetoids that probably wouldn't kill Kaguya, but it would be a good distraction, just like it was against Naruto and Sasuke. And then Madara can say,
wait, hold on. A distraction? I don't know about a distraction. She can just teleport away. That shit falls down and then she comes back. And she can just blitz those shit, bruh.
up another attack. Now, the problem for Madara would be that Kaguya can kind of open portals around him, behind him, for example, and shoot the bones, where Madara can't see them. However, Madara is a damn good sensory type, and, well, the Limbo clones can still move around and protect him even from behind.
And that's all without really, like, you know, going into, like, the fact that he might be fighting, because he knows who he's fighting. I would be surprised if he just goes into Susanoo right off the get-go, because of who he knows he's fighting.
So I think he would probably start using clones as distractions. Now, granted, he never uses wood clones as Jubidara, but there's nothing saying he couldn't because he uses wood style. He actually puts the entire world under his deep force emergence, so, which is a pretty insane feat.
Yeah, you know, or, you know, worst case, not worst case, I suppose, but as a added layer of, like, protection, you can summon his wood clones, and they can use their Susanos, you know, and I imagine that, like, these clones were going to be stronger than they were in the five Kage fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these wood clones, these Ten-tailed wood clones, and their Susanos, like, they'll be stronger than what they were during their fight with the five Kage. Like you said, that might provide some distractions for Madara and, like, provide an opening. The thing what we also said, though, is, like, it's tricky because Kage is a case where we don't know if she can, like, be, quote, killed, or she has to be sealed away. Like,
yeah, so we are giving her mortality here by default, like, that you could kill her, because Hagoromo implies that Naruto and Sasuke had to seal her away in order to defeat her. He never tells her, well, if you do this or you do that, then she dies. No, you have to seal her. But even still, like, you can even argue that maybe because Jubidara has the powers of the Sage of Six Paths, the Rinnegan, and the Jubi, he could maybe pull off a sealing jutsu like that, and he also has the Rinne Sharingan. We don't know exactly what Madara could do with the Rinne Sharingan except for the Infinite Tsukiyomi, and we know that Kaguya used her dimension hopping abilities with the Rinne Sharingan, so maybe there's even an argument Madara could use that ability to run out of a dimension if he feels the need to. It's the real problem is that this jutsu taxes your chakra reserves a lot, and that's why Kaguya was quote unquote the only person able to use it.
So like Madara would probably only, like, if he had to use it, it'd probably be a case of him needing to get out of the dimension and get back to the real world. But then he's screwed if Kaguya does it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I guess not really. I guess because you know you can just wait till his chakra is good again. And, you know.
No. Madara wouldn't be able to use Amino Minaka. He doesn't have the chakra required to do that. Now, the reason why I say that is because the data book says Kaguya is the only one who has the chakra required to do that. Madara wasn't able to do that because he doesn't have the chakra required to do that. So, with all the chakra that Madara has, it's still not enough to use that dimension hopping ability that Kaguya has, Amino Minaka. So if he uses it, I don't even think he can use it once, because he doesn't meet the chakra requirements. Even though he has the fucking 10 tails inside of him, he doesn't meet the requirements. So every time Kaguya hops between dimensions, she's actually losing Jubi Madara's worth of chakra. Think about that. Okay, so after this part, they basically give like how often they think Madara wins out of 10. And DygoKnight said he thinks Madara wins 6 times out of 10, which I think is retarded. Because I think it's like, I would say he wins like 1 time out of 10, if not 0. Because the difference in power is just too much. It's just way too much. Kaguya is just way too strong for Madara. But anyway, I'm gonna end the video here because I don't want to make it more than 30 minutes. I did cut out some stuff that I felt was unnecessary. For example, there was a part where he talked about Hashirama and Madara fighting, and I was like, yeah, this is pointless. I don't need to talk about this. But yeah, most of the arguments that they made were just bad, and I addressed those that I thought were it was necessary for me to respond to and address. So yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Dawn out. Bye.